Shabbat Shalom. It's good to be back, and we are now going to the Yexia, getting out of Egypt. And the creator, this is Beshalach. It's interesting that it starts with saying that if Pharaoh, who sent out Israel, doesn't say that the creator sent them out, say Pharaoh. And here is a very important touch of the Torah. What does he want to tell us? The Creator wanted to show in his participation that the human beings, all of us, we are responsible for our own actions, and that he is going to do what he needs to do as the Creator. But he is going to give the people, his creation, a gift that has talked for many, many years. And lately, I have even mentioned very often, the Beshalach of Shear, the free will. And we need to understand this. Israel were slaves of Egypt. The Egyptians were the masters. And for 200 years, they were living in a very special way, from one moment doing well to changing completely the last maybe 80 or 90 years before they left with a very oppressive regime. A new Pharaoh came out. And this oppression was so huge that they start little by little. There was at least one generation passing that was totally born in slavery. With that mentality, the slave mentality, it is a real problem. And you will be surprised about us in this new world, in these new generations. How many of the people, they live with a slave mentality. And we need to understand what it means to be a slave. You know, because sometimes we talk or we mention, but doesn't make sense sometimes to us. You know, you can be in a free country, and you can be a slave. And you can be in a very dictatorial, dominant country, and you can be free. And it is an attitude of the person about, in a certain way, not surrender to the things that are around me, but to keep the faith, to keep going, and to be open-minded, and trying to look something outside myself. But it's very comfortable sometimes. Believe me or not, it's very comfortable to be a slave. You would say, what, are you crazy? Totally the contrary. You know, if somebody does everything for you, if somebody does the thinking for you, if somebody say, when do you need to get up, when do you need to go, when do you need to do this? You know, certain things, I have seen that mentality, believe me or not, in prisons. When you go to a prison, to a jail, to those things, you're going to see that they're all regimented. They cannot any longer think for themselves. And many of them, to keep their own sanity, they isolate and they do extra efforts to keep their own sanity, because little by little they are robbing away your free will to the point that you don't have it anymore. And many of us, we fall in the prison. And we do not know how to get up. And pretty soon we give up. Thank you so much, Alejandro, talking about this last week, about this plague of darkness. And what darkness really is. And the lack of the light of the Creator. Because that darkness is a spiritual darkness. And it's heavy. And takes over. Israel needed to get out of that spiritual darkness. You know, I have read so many, and they send me sometimes passages of the other groups, religious groups, and Jewish groups, and they study the Torah. Rabbis, and beautiful studies. But most of us, we fall in this trap. Do we make the time of Israel in Egypt idyllic? And the people were idyllic. They were goody-goodies. And they were all obedient to the Creator. And sometimes we say things like this. I have heard from many people and from many rabbis. The Creator heard the cry of the righteous. And for that reason intervened in Israel. And I have been searching about those righteous. And there is no any moment that the Torah talks about the righteous. In that moment, there were people that were slaves. And when you are a slave, almost they erase your own willpower. I needed to redo that, to undo those evil things that they had done. And the mental, the psychological, the spiritual, and even the physical way. You can be a very strong person, but if you don't believe that you are strong, you cannot do anything. I always give this analogy when I talk about slavery, about how they domesticate the elephants. You know, in order to domesticate a huge elephant, and that is very nice and very good, they start from when they are babies. They tie their legs to a very strong chain when they are babies. And they try very hard to get it, and finally they give up. And when they grow up, they're only tied with a little rope, and they never more. They go away. How many of us that when we were growing up, we were tied to chains to the point that today a little thread is holding us and we are unmovable. We cannot move in any way. How many of us today we cannot see farther than our own noses? Because we are totally covered by fear. And we're literally paralyzed. I always ask the people, what is the worst thing that can happen to you? Death? And totally the contrary for us, who we have the Creator, the Borei Olam, who has given us life, we return to Him. Because my life belongs to Him, it's His. But we are living more with fears than with hopes and with possibilities and future. And without realizing, we pass this to our children and to our children's children. This mentality of doom, the mentality of we cannot do anything about it. You know the beauty about being a Jew in myself, or because that sounds self-serving. But the beauty about biblical Judaism, about the Torah. You know what is the beauty about that? That the Creator teaches us to be free. He is the one that give us the liberation, liberty, redemption, whatever you want to call it. He liberates us. But He doesn't want to slave us with Him. And almost all the religions, they teach you that you need to be a slave of the Creator. When He is giving you freedom to exercise your your free will. Because from there, you are going to exercise your responsibility. Look at what happened in this portion. The Creator knew when Israel was getting out of Egypt, He knew that where they had this mentality. Let me ask you another simple question. If He's doing all this effort to liberate them, why in 1 second didn't change their minds? Why didn't change their way of thinking? He had the power. And you're going to see little by little that He never does something like that. And there is a statement I want to make it very clear. The Creator here is going to teach us something very profound, but very important, about our freedom. The thing that you and I, we can do normally, is up to us. The impossible thing for us is up to Him. But He didn't create us robots. He gave us the capability to think and to do ourselves, and we need to grow in the process. And Israel, He knew that Israel still had a slavery mentality, and that was afraid even of their own shadow. And then when they went in the short way to go to the promised land, the Creator Himself deviated the route. Because they say, as soon as they go through the Philistines, by the way, they are not the Palestinians. I hope that people know that. The Philistines, they will be scared of war. And they will be trying to return back to Egypt. Send it through the long way. Now, this is the problem about the Torah, that sometimes when we read it, we don't see the chronological process. And when we are reading, we think yesterday Israel left, and today Pharaoh was upset that he let them go. No, he needed to take a time to mourn his firstborn, and they passed at least a month. And after a month, he realized, what I had done. I let these people go. He's going to do the job that I don't like to do. Bring them back. And if they don't come back, kill them. Look like that he never learned. And they went. He exercised his free will. What does Israel? They look back and they started screaming. They said that they left 600,000 men. Armed men, 600,000. And they sent only 600 chariots. And you put in every chariot 3 people, the one that ride, the one that throw the spear, and the captain, multiply by 3, 1,800 to 600,000. And they are crying out. That's the reason that you send us here to die here in the middle of the desert when there are such beautiful tombs in Egypt. And then you're going to see after that, you're going to see the problem of the bitter waters, you're going to see about the food, and you're going to see the Amalekites in this program. And instead to tell you one by one, I'm going to put it all together. What's the teaching that we need to grasp it from this? The Creator is going to give us the opportunity to grow. And He understands our level of immaturity. And He won't demand more from you according to your level. He will be more demanding with those ones who are more advanced. Have you heard that saying, more is given to you, more is required from you? But everybody is going to be required something to exercise the beautiful gift of the Creator of free will. And takes a time. We are not in the instant world. Everything needs time. Today, with the amazing way of communicating and showing ourselves and talking to each other in a second, doesn't matter how far you are.
Real time.
Real time. That we have lost the capability of timing. That we do not understand that to prepare something good needs time. You know, if today we could have babies in one day, they will do it. Poor mothers to wait 9 months. 9 months when I can put it in a tube, send it back. No, that will be wonderful. We are in those situations right now. And what the Creator wants to teach us in this parasha, in this portion, and it's a very important and deep understanding. There is no ideal people. There are no people that are better than others. Israel had the same problem that the rest of the world. We are not all saints. No one has a halo in our head. And not all of us, we are strong believers. And if you don't believe me, look at Israel today. But we have a calling. And we have a destiny to fulfill. And the only way that we can do it is if we can understand our calling. And you know, I rejoice with I call it Goyim Sedakim. In the last week, in Parashat Bob, in chapter 12, we read something very interesting. There was a group who came with Israel called the Ereb Rab. We translated a mixed multitude who were not Israelites, but had the same calling that the Israelites. And maybe many of them were stronger than the same Israelites. And the example that we have, and later on you're going to see it, is somebody called Caleb, son of Jephunneh. Only two were able to come to the promised land, one Israelite and one a Goyim, a Gentile. What is Scripture trying to tell us? It's not about race, it's not about superiority, but it's about the calling. Creator is keep calling you and me to do what is right. And we need to respond to that calling. Sometimes it's critical, and sometimes it's scary. Do you remember Moshe Rabbeinu? Why me? I cannot even talk. And besides, these people don't even like me. How many times many of us we have said ourselves the same thing? Juan, me, I am not qualified, and those people don't like me. But it is the Creator who is leading us, and we respond. Yes, I am afraid. Yes, I have my limitations and my personal questioning. But I need to get out of that trap. Yes, I have been told I am good for nothing. When I grew up, maybe they didn't give me the tools or the things that will make a better person. But now I am an adult. Now I am mature. Now I do not need to hold the past holding me back. I need to change. And this is why the Creator has so much patience with the first generation of the Yexia, the exit from Egypt. Why He allowed them to, little by little, what I call it, being weaned out of these false religions. Like I say, He could change them in an instant because He was powerful. Look at this picture that I always give. The crossing of the Red Sea. Moshe Rabbeinu complains. And what the Creator says, why you complain to me? Go, keep going. To Moshe Rabbeinu. But the sea is there, and the people are behind me. You know what? The only direction that you have is the water, or fight them. I am not ready for the fight. I will do your fight. But you keep going. And how are you going to cross? I cannot. I don't have boats. I don't have anything. It's the Creator who is going to do it. The things that we can do, we are doing for ourselves. The things that we cannot do for ourselves, He will do it. He opened in a way for us to see His capabilities, His power, the Creator. Blessed be His name. But He doesn't move one card. He doesn't push any card. He doesn't make the card to run better. And He made the path to workable or walkable. But it's still wet a little bit. It's still difficult to push the cart. The elderly people, you need to push it and to push it. And they see behind them the enemy. Let me ask you this question. Why in that moment, 600,000 men that they were with weapons couldn't stand up to them? Because it's called a slavery mentality. Because sometimes you have been sold out the idea that you cannot do it. And it is time that you wake up. You can do it if you try. And you fail the first time, you try the second time, and you try until you do it. That's why God gave us this wonderful spirit. And we need to keep going. And when the sea is open, didn't end it there. We need to keep working. We need to keep going. To us, we are amazed about opening the sea. But really our work was to cross the sea. We needed to do it ourselves. Do you think that the Creator couldn't start with a magic carpet to fly the people instead to open the sea? And then, that would be a much better way. This is the message for today. Do not give up. Don't accept what other people have said about you. Trying to do your best. That is what the Creator wants from you. Keep going and looking ahead. Stop looking back. The past is already gone. Cannot stop you if you don't allow it. But you have today, going to tomorrow. Are we ready to start today? One day at a time. That's all that we have. I cannot promise you what I'm going to do tomorrow. But I can tell you what I am doing today. And let's encourage each other. Support each other. Sometimes we are down and we need your support. I have experienced this last week through you. You have been so wonderful in your support toward me that I had the sense of being lifted up, even that was a very heavy thing on me. This is the reason that we need each other. That is the reason the Creator makes us individuals in community. Each one is a precious thing in the eyes of God. And all of us, we are the most beautiful mosaic. Because each one of us, we belong to a certain part that when we look from far away, we see the beautiful picture of all of us together. But when we look at only one, we lose the picture. But each one of us is important, because if we are not there, the picture is not complete. I want to thank you again for your faithfulness, for the support of this community, and even that we are not very numerous, we are very important in the eyes of the Creator. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Shabbat Shalom.